What's up, guys, and welcome to the Ji-Kun raid guide. This is the bird boss that you've heard so much about. This fight is awesome. Blizzard did a great job with this fight. There's a lot of cool mechanics going on. This is a group effort fight to kill. First off, you do need two tanks. They do get a debuff. They do need to switch, okay? That's typically pretty much every fight is they've just pretty much given tanks a tank swap, a couple cooldowns to pop at certain times. You're pretty much good there. Where this fight gets fun, okay, is there are nests all around the room. There's lower ones and then there's higher ones. And these little hatchlings will spawn on those platforms, and there'll be a big red beam, as you can see in the background, glowing from one of the nests. Once that red beam is up, that means that there are hatchlings that are starting to hatch down there. So what you need to do is split your raid group up. How we did it was we actually had 4 different groups. Okay, we had one group that did a majority of the flying. The other groups just kind of helped out and maintained, and kind of went in a sequential order so they could get back on the platform and burn more DPS onto the boss. So that's how we did it, and then that's pretty much the easiest way to do it, at least from what we've seen. What you do is you have one healer, 4 DPS, go down, burn those eggs before they turn into fledglings and start really hitting your raid hard. That's really the goal, is as soon as that starts to spawn, you need to get down there, you need to AoE those ads down and kill them ASAP. And then once those ads die, they will drop a feather, which gives you an extra action button. You then push this extra action button to fly up. In the footage that you're seeing, I had better footage where I was actually doing some of the flying. However, in this video and this kill that I actually got recorded, I'm not flying. So you won't be able to see that. You'll be able to get to see kind of everything else going on in the background. But that's pretty much how the fledglings work. Is they start out as hatchlings. If they're not killed within a certain amount of time, they turn into fledglings, right? So let's deal with that. So we had one group that would go to their first one, and then they would go up once the top one started spawning, etc. Now the boss does a couple different abilities in the main platform that you need to watch out for. Okay, as you can see here, he will spawn green ooze puddles onto the ground. You need to make sure that you can soak these, okay? It hits for pretty much 100k, but it adds a stack. You'll see that little green debuff next to my name. You can get away with stacking that maybe 2, maybe 3 times in normal mode. You can get rid of the debuff though. You can ice block it off. I don't know if you can pally bubble it off or whatever, but I know the ice block does work, allowing you to soak a couple more. So for this attempt, that was pretty much my job. If anything pretty much came up in my quadrant, I just went and soaked it, let a healer know that I was going to soak it. That's the biggest thing. The key is you do not want to soak these puddles during an ability called Quills. This is the next ability that the boss does. Quills, the boss spins around similar to Rain of Blades from Windlord. It hurts extremely bad. You will need to cycle your raid cooldowns, your healing cooldowns, whatever you have to live through this. It is a very hard-hitting ability, and it hits harder and harder as the fight goes on. The next thing you need to understand, I should say, just gets more annoying as the fight goes on. This is the next ability, and this ability is his downdraft, where it's just pretty much a pushback. Unlike Lei Shen's pushback, this pushback is a lot stronger, so you need to make sure that you move in for that. Try to be as close to the center of the room as you can. If you have any speed boosts, you know, blink, whatever you can use, stay on the platform. You can fall off the platform, you will not die, but it does take a while for you to fly back up. It does similar to like Alec here, where it flings you back up, so you want to be careful with that. Those are the main abilities on the platform though. You do need to stay spread out 8 yards, and the reason is he does Caw. Caw will do splash damage to everybody else around you if you are within 8 yards, and can kill you. I've seen it happen a couple times. Caw is the last ability, and that comes from the fledglings above. They will just randomly just do damage to people. It's just the way it works. And so you need to make sure that you keep ads under control. The biggest thing in this fight, guys, is, like I said, just making sure that you get your orders set for the nests. Make sure that you get used to the nests, where they spawn, when they spawn, who's killing which ones. That's the biggest thing to get down in this fight. The other abilities are pretty relatively simple. The other ability that the boss does, though, to give you a damage buff, is he'll do an ability called Feed Young, and this is where he throws food out to the nest where there's birds at. He'll throw these orange like puddles out of his mouth, and if you can intercept these, you gain a damage buff that will stack, and then you just tunnel into the boss, or you kill your ads, then you tunnel into the boss. It's very beneficial for your raid to get as many stacks of this as possible. I assume in heroic mode it's even more important. But the biggest thing is to make sure that your groups who have feathers are flying around getting these buffs whenever he does feed young, if they're not going to be going down to the next platform, or if they're not going up to a platform. Keep in mind also in this fight, you do not take extra fall damage in this fight. Fall damage is practically turned off in this fight, so you do not need to save a feather if you're up top and coming back down. You pretty much can just fall. That's one of the nice benefits as well. But like I said, guys, this is one of those fights where if you can just hang out with the abilities, so make sure that you move in for downdraft and you run, use all your speed stuff, stampeding roars, whatever you can do to stay on the platform. Spread out 8 yards in between that. Soak the green puddles, as they will act like a soft enrage almost, if you just don't have anywhere to stand, and spread out. And make sure that you have your nest orders figured out. You can kill this fight pretty easy, guys. It's not too bad. Like I said, it's one of those fights where it's really more about learning the mechanic of the nest than it is about anything else. And if you can do that, you can kill this one. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.